it set up. Get it set up. And boom, we are live on TikTok. Make sure we're live on YouTube. Double check now. Double check now. Got to make sure we good. Check LinkedIn, refresh. And I don't know if y'all can hear it, but the ice cream man is currently going through my neighborhood trying to get all the ice cream crazed children to come patronize their business. Shout out to the ice cream man. Who remembers being a small child and wanting that ice cream man to come down your street, or you going crazy when when you hear that ice cream music. I think I still got a piece of me that's this child that hears the ice cream music and gets excited still. Even though I can go to the store, I can go get my own ice cream, I can get whatever flavor I want, but there's something about that jingle that just excites you. You know what I'm saying? That ice cream jingle. But nevertheless, welcome to today's Monday live call where we talk about different different topics that are, important for corporate America. Because honestly, people don't realize and understand how important your mental wellness, your emotional intelligence, things of that nature, how it affects your performance. It affects your, of course, your overall well-being, but it can affect the bottom line as well. And so if you are not, just like if you're not taking care of your physical health, just like when you're not going to the gym enough, just like when you're not eating the foods that you're supposed to be eating, just like when you're not doing all of those things, your physical health tanks, your mental wellness is the same. If you're not doing what you need to do on that end, then your emotions will be all over the place. You're not going to be able to handle high pressure environments. You're going to be stressed out all the time. You're going to be overstimulated all the time. You're going to be easily irritated all the time. And so that is the purpose of these particular lives. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome in. And I hope you enjoy, because today we're talking about pressure. Yeah, we talking about high pressure, because the reality is, you know, we like money. We like to get to the bad. And some of us like enjoy our jobs. We enjoy the work that we do, whether it's in healthcare, whether it's in finance, whether it's in education, whatever it is that you do, you actually enjoy your job. But the reality of the fact is, it's a stressful job, and it's a lot of high stakes, and it's a lot of high environment that requires a lot from us. And if you are not careful, that high pressure can just crush you. You get what I'm saying? And so today we're talking about how to basically build that mental resiliency in the midst of that high pressure. Because if you don't have that resiliency, you're going to break down and burn out. I always say it's a check engine light. Like literally, everybody has a check engine light, internal check engine light system that we usually ignore. Whether that is, compromising your sleep, you're not going to be able to focus, you might be irritable, everybody got that check engine light, but we don't always pay attention to that. And so today, this is going to help you to be able to actually fix what's happening under the check engine light, or help that light not even be able to turn on. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now, y'all know, if you have watched any of the previous lives, or if you're watching this on replay, you know that I like to keep things really simple. So we're going to do it simple again. And we got 3 different tips that are around this topic. Okay. All right. So building that mental resiliency. Let's start with number 1. Number 1 is to know your triggers. Cameron, what you talking about triggers? I ain't got anger issues. I'm not having, issues like that. But here's the thing. Everybody knows where the big red button is for their life. Like, if this person, if this customer, if this employee, if this manager does this thing, it's gonna set me off. And the thing about emotional intelligence are knowing what those buttons think like. Let me say that again. The biggest thing about emotional intelligence is knowing what those buttons are. Understanding where the buttons are, what circumstances, what perfect storm is going to make that button be pushed. You get what I'm saying? And so understanding what your triggers are is going to be real important. And also understand what sets up that particular trigger to happen. So, for example, if you know that when you are not getting enough sleep on a regular basis, so if you've had, let's say out of the 5 days of the week that you work in, 3 of those you've only gotten 4 hours of sleep each, right? On top of that, maybe you're not eating, healthy. You're getting something quick like Starbucks coffee or Scooter's coffee or a quick energy drink. You're just getting something just to get by, just to try to hype you up in the morning. And you know that perfect storm on top of something happening in your personal life. So let's pick something like maybe your kids. Like something's going on with your kids. Either you got into an argument with them, or something happened at school, or something just happened with your child. So that remedy of perfect storms creates you in a very irritated, agitative, I could go off the slightest thing or something that will really take me off of my game for that, right? So knowing what those sequentially those things are for you is going to be very important in preventing what happens after the big red button is pushed. You get what I'm saying? So not only recognize what is your big red button, but what is the lineup that could lead to the big red button being pushed? That is your trigger. So and also maybe the people around you. If you want to take it to the next level with this particular point, and you're in leadership, or you're a manager, or you're a supervisor, try to figure out if you can identify what the triggers are for your employees. Try to figure out what the big red buttons are for your fellow coworkers. Try to think about, okay, they have their anniversary this week. They have, they're getting married this week. They have something personal happening this week. And because of that, they might not have, their full focus, or they might be off of their game, or they might be slightly agitated, or they might be slightly irritated. And so knowing those things and recognizing those things, if you have the emotional awareness, and you're able to read people a little bit, learning those things can also help you be able to quickly identify what the problem is and be able to find the solution so that you can get back to the work at hand. You get what I'm saying? Or finding the solution for um, like when projects are still need to be worked on. So let's say for example you have a deadline coming up in a month, right? And you guys are collectively working on that, but you're noticing like around the 2 week mark, around the 3 week mark, that you have a team member who's not being very productive, right? And so this is where you have to be able to recognize that and meet with that team member so you can be able to confront them. And when I say confront, I really mean be able to address the issue, confront the behavior, so that you can find a solution. It's like, okay, well, I need you, since you can't do this instead. Work on this, make sure that this is right, because that's not going to add much pressure on you, but it's going to help the team, but it's not going to tank the team. We're going to take that and all the good stuff. You know what I'm saying? So figuring out what your triggers are is step number one. If you want to take it a step further, if you're in leadership, figuring out the triggers, figuring out the stressors, actually even knowing them as a person is going to be very helpful with this particular point. Okay? All right, so the next one, the second one, is figuring out what your personal regulation technique is. I'm going to say that again, I'll break it down. Figuring out when you're feeling overstimulated, when you're overthinking, when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you are agitated, when you are irritated. So basically, when if the big red button is pushed or if things around the big red button are being pushed, what is going to be your process for coming from here back down to here? Because if we're up here, when emotions are high, our reasoning is low. When we're angered, when we're irritated, when we're emotionally high strung, when we're emotionally high, we're not being able to think clearly. We're not going to be able to articulate what we need to do. We're not going to be able to, handle the business in a spirit of excellence, right? Because our emotions are going to be getting in the way. So you, who is constantly in a high pressure environment, wherever your industry is, you have to be able to identify what is a self-regulation technique for me that's going to help me to be able to decompress so that I can get back to being what I need to do. Okay. Now, if you need some self-regulation techniques, I recommend definitely getting the Turn Your Stress Off journal. You can hit that link in the description and pre-order it, and I'll make sure that you get this well before Thanksgiving. Yeah, got over 4 weeks of mental health exercises to help you to be able to decompress, build resilience, and regulate your mood. But I'm gonna give you a couple. So the first one is figuring out what kind of breathing technique works best for you. So there's a few breathing techniques. So it's about finding which one works best for you, because there's examples, the 333 that I push for my clients, which is the inhale for 3 seconds, hold for 3 seconds, and then exhale for 3 seconds. There's box breathing, which is just inhale for no hold, exhale for four. There is the physiological sigh, which is the basically it's a double inhale and then a slow exhale. There's the 4-7-8 breathing. So figuring out what kind of diaphragmatic breathing that it works best for you, because everybody likes certain ones that are different. So which one works best for you? So and I oh by the way, do that breathing exercise for at least, I'd say, about 5-ish minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. Um, Another one is your somatic movement or just a movement break. So figuring out, when you have a lot on your mind, when you have a lot on your plate, or when you're feeling like overstimulated or overwhelmed, what can you do to disconnect from the environment to just go, have a movement break? Whether that is you're walking around the complex, or you're just standing up, closing your desk for a second, forgetting that electronic stimulation, and just allowing yourself to just, your senses to just decompress, or just stretching, doing some push-ups, figuring out what that is for you. Excuse me. Figuring out what that is for you is going to be essential when you're under a high amount of pressure. So again, when the button has been pushed, when your triggers have been triggered, what is your decompression strategy? What can you do to self-regulate yourself? Okay. Now, it doesn't even have to be just that. It could also be something simple as journaling. It can be something simple as having an adult coloring book in your desk that you can do for 10 minutes, that you can do for 30 minutes if you have that much time. Figuring out what that customized role for you is going to be very crucial when you're under a lot of pressure at work. And those of you who know, like, the pressure be coming, whether it is, client, whether it's a parent, whether it's your supervisor, whether it's your supervisor, whether it's HR, whoever it is, like, the pressure's going to come. So when the pressure does come, when it gets to that point, already have a plan in motion that's going to be able to decompress those emotions, to decompress those thoughts. You know what I'm saying? That's how you're able to thrive in high pressure environments. Okay. And the last one, our number 3, is creating an environment for you to thrive. Okay. So everybody, like we said, everybody has their own customized de-stress routine, But do you have an environment in your office, if you work at home, in your home, if you work in the fields, in your car? What is that environment that helps you to be able to thrive? You get what I'm saying? So, example, when I'm working at home and it's just me and my thoughts, I know that I can't be in the kitchen. I know that I can't be on the couch. I know that I can't be in my bed because those areas like scream unproductivity. They scream get on your phone, scroll on TikTok, scroll on Instagram, scroll on YouTube. That's what the mode I'm in when I'm in those other spaces. But when I'm in my office, when I'm in this chair, when I'm on this computer, if I'm in front of this camera, if this mic is on, that environment means okay, it's time to turn on, it's time to get my timers going, it's time to do my most productive mode. Like it's time to get in that mindset and get in that mode. And sometimes, not every day, but quite often, I will light a candle to one. Well, number one, because my dog is here when I'm here, and she'd be farting, and that stink. It's atrocious. So I like to light a candle and turn on my binaural beats. So literally setting the environment from that sense of smell, from that sense of that ear sight, making sure that I got my water. I don't got my water right now, but making sure that I have things around me that makes me be more productive. What are those things for you? What are those things that you can add to your space, whether it's at work, whether it's in your car, whether it's out in the field, whether it's, whatever that thing is that makes you be a little bit more productive, that helps you focus a little bit longer in that high pressure environment, because distractions are going to be distracting. Things are going to be happening. And so you have to have a way, a system, a self-system process for you to be able to be more efficient. And let me tell you something. If you're able to figure this point out, then you won't need the full 8 hours for your particular job. You'll be able to do more in less time. If you're able to create an environment that allows you to focus in and be more productive, and then you also go back to the last couple lives that we've done on mental health hacks, you'll be able to be more productive and get more done without burning out in less time. But you have to create the most productive environment for you. So that may mean you got to put your phone on do not disturb, so that you don't hear the emails that are coming in. Because I know I get at least 50 to 100 emails a day that are not related to work, that are promotions, that are this discount here, this sale here, this that I want to keep, but right now it's distracting me because it's vibrating and it forces me to go check it, and then I end up seeing another notification from Facebook. So that means my phone maybe need to go on do not disturb when I'm working. This means that, you know what, I maybe can't text the group chat all day. Maybe I need to just temporarily put them on mute when I need to be focused. When I'm under a amount of pressure and I need to get this deadline in, or I need to work on this particular project. I need to finish this before, Black Friday season comes. So, what is that particular environment for you that helps you to be able to thrive in the midst of the pressure? That's what I challenge you to figure out, because that is the difference between surviving and just thriving. Let me say that again. That's the difference between just surviving and truly thriving in a high pressure environment. That's the difference between being overwhelmed when another project, and surprise, and all this stuff happens. That's the difference between rising to the occasion and turning into a diamond, being refined into gold, or breaking like pipes, breaking under pressure. So having these things that we talked about, having those routines is going to be very, very vital. And I want to really challenge everyone that is listening to this, especially those who are watching this on replay. I want to challenge you to really take your mental wellness seriously. And the thing is, you can proactively work on these things. Something doesn't have to happen for you to finally take this seriously. Rather, I always say, it's easier to be proactive than to be reactive. If you go to the doctor and the doctor tells you, you got high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and you're pre-diabetic, now you got to go back and retroactively go change some things. You got to work out more. You got to move more. You got to change. You know what I'm saying? But it's easier when you're not overwhelmed. It's easier when you don't have a lot of things on your plate. It's easier when you're not stressed out and burnt out and you don't have the mental motivation or the physical energy. It's easier to do that on the front end before all of that shows up and have a mental wellness routine, have a visualization practice, have the somatic movements in place, have a breathing exercise routine, have a decompression routine when you are at get home. It's much easier to do that proactively than reactively. Now, much loved. If you're watching this and you are, you literally are about to break under pressure, I'm glad that you have joined this today. I'm glad that you made it. And for you, I hope that you can quickly be able to implement this. Matter of fact, you probably need this like real bad. So make sure that you get this so that you ain't got to really think about it and get on autopilot. Or you can contact me and I can come in and work with your company, or I can, give you the benefits package, and then you get the back end to the courses, and then you have easy access to resources like this all the time. Wherever you're at, I pray that you get the help that you need so that you're not breaking down in the high pressure environment. Okay? All right. So before we wrap it, I'm gonna do a quick recap. First recap: learn your triggers. Learn the things that set you off, that irritate you, that grinds your gears, that will really send you to another place. Number two, learn a regulation technique, whether that's movement breaks, whether that's diaphragmatic breathing, whether that's coloring, whether that's journaling, whether it's going for a walk, wherever your regulation technique, when the button gets pressed, when you're triggered, learning those regulation techniques is going to help you to be able to go from emotionally elevated to regulated. And number three, create the environment that's going to help you thrive instead of just surviving. Okay? All right, guys, we're going to leave it there. For those of y'all catching the replay, appreciate y'all. If you want to, pre-order the Turn Your Stress Off journal, you can hit that link in the description. And I promise you, if you order this before, I need to write that date down because I said it in the last live, so I need to go back and watch that live. It's a date that I had. I said if everybody pre-orders before then, I'm gonna promise you that you'll get your journal before Thanksgiving. So I'm gonna go back. I know it's in November, so I need to go back and double check that. Also, if you are an educator, if you work with a team and you guys, that your team needs this, I do bulk orders. So this can be bulk available. And I also have a mini course that basically takes this and expands upon it, and it has easy access. And also I can give that to your company as well. Or if you just want it for yourself, of course, you can just have it for yourself. But the biggest thing of all this is take your mental wellness seriously, proactively, so that you don't break down, burn out, and become overwhelmed in the midst of that high pressure environment. Okay. Like I said, guys, we do this every Monday. We're going to do this every Monday at about 5:30 Central Standard Time. So make sure you tap in, tune in. If you want to catch the replay, of course, you can look at it on YouTube or LinkedIn. And join the email list if you want to get the notification, because I did send a notification out to my email list about this upcoming live. And matter of fact, I can even do some polls about potential topics that y'all want to cover in this mental wellness and corporate space. I can start doing that. That'll probably be a good idea to get you guys feedback. Okay. So, but until then, I'll see you guys next Monday at the same time, same place, right here on LinkedIn Live and YouTube Live. Oh, and TikTok. Shout out to y'all. Be back here at 5:30 Central Standard Time, talking about mental wellness in corporate America. Okay. All right, guys. Peace.